Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in the Cessna 152. We have a whopping 13 nautical mile flight from Doylestown, Delta Yankee Lima, to Wings Field, Lima Oscar Mike. It would be 13 miles if we were flying direct, but we are going to enjoy the sights. So instead of directly flying, we're going to use visual navigation. I will take you through the flight planning using Google Maps as a tool to pick out some streets and landmarks, and we're going to enjoy the awesome 3D photogrammetry that's available for this entire area that's north of Philadelphia. So let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Okay, Doylestown is a free airport that I downloaded, so I will put the link so that you too can enjoy it. In real life, I've been to Doylestown multiple times, and I love it. It's a favorite place to visit. That's why I'm choosing this flight out of here. The 3D photogrammetry makes it awesome because you can spot things you've seen in real life, and that's how we're going to do our flight. So instead of just flying in a straight line from point A to point B, we're going to take off, do a little bit of flyabout overhead of Doylestown, check out some of the sights. I'll call them out as I see them. And then we're going to follow some roads to get us to Wings Field and visually navigate there. To plan this, we're going to pull up Google Maps, and you can see just south of Doylestown is the intersection of Route 202 and 611, so that should be really easy to spot from the air. And once we find that, then we're going to follow 202 southwest, and that should take us almost directly to Wings Field. Wings Field is under the outer shelf of the Philly Bravo. That shelf starts at 3,500, so we need to stay below that to avoid busting the Bravo. And we do have an NDB right next to Wings Field. That's Ambler NDB, and that's 275. The Cessna 152 does have an NDB. That's on the far right-hand side of the panel there. So we're going to dial in 275 once we get set up, and we can use that to point us in the direction of the field if we get turned around. Now you may say, we're only 13 miles away. How hard is it going to be to find the field? Well, if you've ever tried to visually navigate, it can be pretty hard sometimes to find the field, especially since we're going to be doing this entire flight fairly low, right? So when you're up at 5,500 feet, it's easy to spot the field. When you're coming into pattern altitude, especially if everything around the field is green, which it will be in this case, yeah, it's pretty easy to miss it and to get yourself all turned around looking for it. So it will be nice to have Plan B that can point us right where we need to go. Another handy tool for pilots is Google Maps with satellite images. So you can pull up your route and pick out the visual landmarks you're going to use when you're flying VFR. So here you can see the intersection of 202 and 611. That should be super easy to spot from the air. We've got Central Bucks High School West to the north of that, and there's a bunch of fields. You can see some baseball fields and a football field there. So those will be really good visual landmarks as well. To the north is the Bucks County Public Defender building, and the admin building that's right next to that is this white circular building that's very distinctive, so that'll be another good thing to spot from the air. And of course we've got the country club, so you got the golf course off to the east. So those are all things to help me get my bearing as I fly around. Then if we pull up the map for Wings Field, you can see it might be a little bit of a challenge to spot. You're probably having trouble seeing it just on the satellite image here. I'll know that I'm near it when I can see the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which is 476 to the southwest there, and 276 to the southeast. So I should easily be able to spot those, and once I get them in sight, I'll know that I'm near the field, and I'll just have to circle until I find it. You can hear I've got live ATC streaming in the back. This is from Philadelphia Approach North, so that'll give us a little bit of flavor. And I think it's time to get our NDB set up. So we'll go over here and dial in Ambler NDB. That's 275. The ADF is right above the NDB there. That's the center gauge with the yellow up and down line. And if you haven't used an NDB, it's pretty easy. So the arrow will point in the direction of the beacon, and in this case the beacon is behind the airport. So if I get myself turned around, I'll just look at the arrow and it will tell me which way to go to get on track to the airport. Okay, let's make our CTAF call. Doylestown traffic, November 359er Golf, Charlie taxi, runway 23, Doylestown. Okay, that looks good. I think we are all set up for takeoff. So we will have a look around and make our CTAF call. Doylestown traffic, November 359 Golf Charlie, departing runway 23, straight out departure, climbing 2,500 Doylestown. And I have a bear of a time taxiing the 152, and especially during rollout here, keeping it on centerline. I've tried messing with my rudder controls, and I just can't quite figure it out. So it's kind of like driving a Mario Kart. But now that we're in the air, everything's settled down. You can see the airport itself is not photogrammetry, but shortly after we cross the threshold, everything will be in 3D photogrammetry. Alright, so everything's in 3D photogrammetry now. Looks a lot better. It's really cool. You can make out specific buildings. We are coming up on the Bucks County Government Building. There's two buildings there, and nestled in between them is the admin building, which is this white cylindrical building. It's very distinctive. You can see it there. So that is a good landmark, and lets me know where I am visually on my map. And here we are. We're already at the intersection of 202 and 611. So we're going to overfly it because we're still climbing out. I wanted to get up to 2,500, which means we're going to loop back around and do a little bit of a flyabout over Doylestown, check out some of the other scenery and buildings, and then come back again and find this same intersection to follow it. That distinctive building over there is the Bucks County Jail. Another good landmark. Okay, we've done a 180, and now we are flying back over 611 and 202. And you can see here the Central Bucks High School West. Remember, we pointed that out on the map. It's got some fields there that are pretty easy to spot from the air. Okay, we've made our way back to the north, and we've got the field that's in sight. That should swing on the right side of the screen here any moment now. So that's Doylestown. And just past Doylestown are two cool structures. One is the Moravian Tile Works, and the other is Font Hill Castle. I've been to both. They are really cool. In fact, the last time my wife and I were at Font Hill Castle, there were people in kung fu uniforms filming a martial arts movie. So it's this incredibly scenic, setting with a castle, and we're just watching these guys that had these big swords with ribbons on them, and they're swinging them all around, and there's another person with a camera filming it all. So pretty memorable. Okay, we're heading south again, and soon we'll have Central Bucks High School in view. I keep using that because you can see the fields. There it is. Easy to spot, and it's right near the intersection of 611 and 202, which is just off of my left wheel there. So we are good. We're at our 2,500 altitude, and we're ready to pick up 202 and now follow it southwest until we get to Wings Field. Now, this would not be one of my flight videos without a musical montage in the middle, so let's sit back for a little bit and enjoy some of that scenery. trouble finding this and got myself a little turned around, but I've spotted the field, so we're going to overfly the field midfield at 2,500, well above pattern altitude, and then we're going to do a 360 to enter the downwind on the left-hand side. You can see my ADF on the right side of the screen pointing towards the field, so that will give me a little bit of guidance helping me as I do this 360 turn to line up with the field. Wings field traffic, Cessna 359 Golf Charlie entering left downwind, runway 24, full stop, Wings field. We're beamed the numbers, so we're going to put in our first notch of flaps and start flying downhill. Wings field traffic, Cessna 359 Golf Charlie, left base, runway 24, full stop, Wings field. Wings field traffic, Cessna 359 Golf Charlie, final, runway 24, full stop, Wings field.
JetBlue 2210, turn left heading 030. Exit 784, turn left heading 180. 10 miles, all clear for the visual. 18.5, have a good night. 1320.
Okay, we'll get everything turned off and shut her down. Alright, well that was a lot of fun. See, even a 13-mile flight can be really cool. You know, it was personal, it's places I've actually been and walked into on my own 2 feet, so I really enjoyed visually navigating there. You know, I felt like I was really taking a plane out of Doylestown and flying to another untowered field. So I hope you enjoyed content like this. If you did, be sure to click that like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment. As always, thanks a lot for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.